A 300Hz IPS panel was unimaginable to have on a budget gaming monitor, but you can get that on the MSI MAG255XF for 13,000 rupees and the MAG255PXF is around 15,000 rupees. So if you are looking for the absolute best value gaming monitors, then these two are the best options. Both of these monitors are identical, with the only difference being that the PXF model comes with a much better stand with all kinds of adjustments and it has inbuilt speakers. I will be showing off the PXF model for the most part in this review, but this monitor is of course the same thing. Inside the box, you'll get the manual and the DisplayPort cable, two different power cables, and then there are the parts of the stand and the panel. Assembling it is quite easy, but you do need a screwdriver to install the stand on the VESA mount. On the XF model, you just have to slide the stand into the monitor. We have a 24.5-inch Rapid IPS panel on these monitors and the resolution is Full HD, but this size is just perfect for 1080p, and for gaming, a bigger monitor may actually be worse because you won't have everything in your field of vision. It's a Rapid IPS panel, so the viewing angles are awesome, colors are very rich and properly saturated, and with a 120% sRGB coverage, this is more than good enough for photo or video editing. The contrast ratio is quite standard at 1000:1 for an IPS panel, and I didn't notice any abnormal backlight bleeding on my unit. Gaming on these monitors is truly an experience. If you have been at 144Hz or even 180Hz, this is going to be a very noticeable upgrade, and 240Hz users may not find it that big of a jump, but the extra smoothness will be noticeable. Even moving your mouse on the desktop and scrolling just feels so smooth on these 300Hz monitors. At 250 nits, it will be more than bright enough for even well-lit rooms, and the only disadvantage that we see with this figure is when you enable the backlight strobing mode. These monitors come with FreeSync Premium support, but you can't enable backlight strobing and adaptive sync at the same time, and that is a feature that more premium monitors do have, but you may not even use backlight strobing on these. Performance of these monitors has been really excellent as expected. There are 3 response time settings, and generally I don't recommend the fastest settings, but on these monitors, the fastest setting is quite usable with a minimal overshoot. On its MPRT mode, you will see the blur totally eliminated, but there is a trail of 3 extra images which can get distracting. I still find this to be a clean enough presentation, so this mode is usable. The brightness will get reduced in this mode, so you may not be able to use this in brightly lit rooms. Now, I used to take my UFO blur test at a different speed settings earlier, but I did compare their performance with the 240Hz BenQ TN panel monitor and the 360Hz IPS monitor, and their raw performance is quite comparable to those former top level gaming monitors. So for an IPS panel, we are already at the top level performance. TN panels have their own drawbacks in other areas, so you may find the next upgrade from this monitor only on an OLED panel, and they are in a completely different price range compared to these, so the promise of extreme value is getting delivered on these monitors. The stand is really outstanding on this PXF model because you have all kinds of adjustments like tilt, height adjustment, 90-degree pivot on both sides, and even swivel, which is not easy to find. The cable management hole is also much better than the clip on the XF model. This is only 1500 to 2000 rupees more expensive than the XF model, which comes with a very basic stand that only offers tilt. This stand is much better in quality, and while gaming, I really think that height adjustment is an essential feature, so I will really suggest that you get this model. But if you are on a budget, or if you already have a VESA compatible stand or arm, you can of course get the 255XF model. Inbuilt speakers are not a big deal for most people, but I do think that they are a very nice to have extra feature. For inputs, you get 2 HDMI 2.0B ports and a DisplayPort 1.4a along with an audio jack. The HDMI ports are going to be limited to 240Hz, so if you want 300Hz, you will need to connect this with a DisplayPort cable, and in case you want to use these with a console, you are of course going to be limited to 120Hz because of the present specifications of the current generation. For a console, you should actually get the 200Hz version of this monitor, which I will review soon, so make sure that you are subscribed with the like button icon. You can control everything with the little joystick button at the back, and you do get some gamer-centric features like adding a crosshair, a timer, and showing the refresh rate. We also get a night screen feature for gaming, which makes it easier to see in dark scenes, and there is of course an AI vision mode that you can try. Before ending this video, I will say that I remember reviewing the world's first 360Hz monitor, and that was so expensive that this kind of refresh rate was exclusive to Halo products and was out of reach for the common gamer. But MSI's MAG255XF and PXF really bring that ultra premium experience to the budget segment, and I still can't believe that getting a 300Hz monitor is as affordable as these and that they also excel at things other than gaming. I will link to both the XF and the PXF model in the description, and the price keeps fluctuating, so you can check out how much of a difference there is between these two, but both of these monitors are such a good deal that it almost doesn't make sense. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, subscribe with bell, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.